guys, this is Erin. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to learn everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit subscribe, and that cute little bell too, so every time we release a new video, you're notified. And last, but certainly not least, one of my very favorite suburbs in the Richmond area would be Midlothian. Now, I know that I sat there and went on to you about Short Pump and how long I lived there and how much I loved it, and I still love the Short Pump area for sure. But I must admit that living south of the James has been a really big treat. And I will definitely encourage people, you know, the place that you're looking for, you've got so many different options in Richmond, Virginia. So always good when you reach out to us and talk to us about things. Let's talk about what you're really looking for and why that is important to you, because there really is a spot for everyone. But the Midlothian area, once you kind of accept, hey, let me go explore south of the James, it really just opens up some amazing possibilities to you. Here's the big thing that a lot of people just don't even consider until you get over here and realize how centrally located it is to you. You think just because it's not north of the river and not connected to all those interstates that it's far out from things, and that nothing could be further from the truth. You actually are very connected to things and have the ability to navigate around better in some ways than, say, if you were maybe over in the Glen Allen or the Short Pump area, because yes, you are very connected to the interstates over there, but you don't maybe have as many larger secondary roads like 288 that connect you around and kind of avoid some of the little nasty spots during certain times of the day. Amenities. I can definitely say that if you are looking for a spot that has kind of everything that your entire family is going to enjoy, definitely please come over and check out my favorite suburb of Midlothian, Virginia. And that's because there are huge sport complexes and lots that are in the planning as well, and there's room for it. That's another great thing about it. Tons of shopping centers, and let me tell you a little bit more about that. My dad and my bonus mom, love them to death, they lived in Brandermill before we actually moved to the Richmond area. And I remember when we'd come up and visit them from the Hampton Roads area, we were dumb and we always would take this convoluted way up. We'd come up 64, of course, shoot right through the city, and then connect on one of the other toll roads that comes over. My dad would always go about how, oh, I love this neighborhood we live in, Midlothian, which is Brandermill. I love it so much because it's so central. It's in the middle of everything. Well, the way that we always came and just went straight to their house, I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about, that it's central, because it's just like you drive into this neighborhood and there's just like nothing around you. It's just this big giant neighborhood. I had found the reservoir, so I saw the pretty reservoir, that's for sure, but I truly hadn't explored out a little bit, and it wasn't until one time that we had to run up the street and get gas, or we were running up the street to grab some groceries or something like that when we were visiting, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, this is what he's talking about, that you really are in the middle of everything and you have so many different options all over the place. For instance, if you're in Midlothian, literally you have everything you need right off of 360, off of Hull Street, or if there's everything you need and then some, go right off of 60 off of Midlothian Turnpike. And that's the great thing, is you do not have to go north of the river. You don't have to go into the city. You certainly don't have to go in the West End to have everything you need. And that was a really great thing to find out when I moved south of the James, is that I did not have to be dependent upon going across the river and doing everything in the West End like I did for so many years. So that's a great thing that you have everything right here. One of the biggest draws here, and I think actually the biggest draws for the Midlothian area in general, is you have the Swift Creek Reservoir. Of course, that's a very specific spot of Midlothian, but it is a spot that there's just so many amazing neighborhoods and recreational areas and shopping and just beautiful nature all the way around that is centralized around the Swift Creek Reservoir. It is a big one. There are spots where you can stop off and publicly fish, but there definitely are areas that are kind of reserved only for the residents of the different neighborhoods that surround the area, which is a great thing as well. And in general, There are a bunch of different places in Midlothian, and I'm focusing on one little spot. But if you go to the other side, kind of going off more Huguenot and Robius Road, there are several different spots where you can get into the James River from a bunch of parks. And that's what I think of maybe when you come south of the James, and particularly in Midlothian, is the amount of water access that you have and walking around nature that's on the river. And I think that's a great thing. That's wonderful. Median price, going to be comparable with things that you're looking over by Short Pump, kind of in the 400,000 range. And definitely for people that are looking for newer homes, that are looking for more of the on-trend styles of homes and less of maybe the quintessential traditional Richmond two-story, how I've described before. If you want kind of those newer, cooler things, definitely encourage you to come over to the Midlothian area because there's so many different neighborhoods to focus upon. Things like Roundtray. Of course, you have the Branner Mill, definitely have the Wood Lake. Those are going to be some older neighborhoods, but a lot of things along the reservoir, you know, just several different ones that you can be focusing upon there as well. And then things that are kind of bordering around there as well. And Midlothian is kind of, even if it doesn't technically have that Midlothian address, there's areas that are very close to it that are bordering up on it that you would still consider in that area for sure. You know, Harper's Mill would be Hampton Park, Magnolia Green, which technically is Mosley and a lot of the other ones over there, but definitely is very centered around that. And here's the cool thing too about Midlothian is there's room to grow. Yes, you may come over and feel like, oh, it's a little bottlenecked or congested in a couple different areas, but the cool thing is there is room to go west, and that's exactly what's happening, and people are appreciating that, and more great neighborhoods are being added. Another thing to always watch is something a developer told me as well, and you notice this very, very much so in the Midlothian area, and why it's one of my favorite suburbs is, yes, you see the developments going on, definitely watch to see if the more schools are being built, but the other thing is they're like, watch for where the banks are coming in. If you see banks coming in, you know that there's going to be growth and money and development. And sure enough, every time I see banks starting to pop up all over, what do you know? These areas start just really becoming very popular. And then again, we were talking about how mid-400s, but then, you know, you could be going into certain areas where they're starting in the 600s as well. So it is an affluent area, and definitely something to consider if you're looking for some of the great suburbs. And again, a great focus is just so many great new neighborhoods and being very central to everything. So there you have it. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I can't wait to see you next time. Remember, leave everything better. Once again, if this is your first time to our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Richmond, Virginia, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit that bell too so you're notified every time we release a new video.